All right. Well, good morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you're watching this. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Today, what we're going to learn is how to use the TI-84 graphing calculator to find the equation of a quadratic function, and as well as how we can graph a parabola using our TI-84 calculator. Now, some of you might have your own TI-84 at home, and that's great because these steps will work on the TI-84 as long as it's an 84. If you have a TI-83 or a different number model, you'll have to let me know because the steps are going to be a little bit different. But all of you should have this calculator on your Chromebook. It's an app that was pushed to your Chromebooks called the TI-84 Plus CE. And if you do, you will be able to do this assignment. If you don't have this app, please let me know. But I was told that you do have the app, and others in my other math classes have screenshotted me things from this app, so you should have this app on your computer. Okay, so this calculator is basically the same as your classroom calculator, and most of your keys are all in the same place as they would be on your classroom calculator. But if you need to, pause the video and take a moment to familiarize yourself with the location of the keys on this calculator if you need to. Okay, so what we're going to do with graphing a parabola using the TI-84, I included these instructions for you. It might help if you write them down or if you want to do some sort of a split screen on your Chromebook. But basically, what we're doing is not any different than what we've done with linear functions on our calculator or exponential functions. We're just pressing one key that's different, and that's going to give you the quadratic function as opposed to a different one. Okay, so here's the steps that we've been using. We use our stat edit menu. The memory clear is the same. The X values will go in your list 1. The Y values go in the list 2 column. When we go to stat calc, we're going to select quadratic regression, the 5th option. And then again, we'll use our store EQ, vars, and yvars, and then to find the equation in the graph. The vars key is right here. Here's your stat key, and here's your second function key, which we'll use for memory clear each time. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into what we're going to be doing today. I will do the first couple as an example for you, and what you need to complete is all 3 slides of this assignment. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the first one. It says to match the appropriate graph to the left and table to the right, and then underneath you're going to write the equation. So let's go ahead and start with our first one here, and we're going to hit the stat key, and there's my stat menu. So for stat edit, I'll just hit enter, and there are my list columns. Now, when you enter a negative number, you must use that minus key on the calculator. You cannot use the minus key on your computer keyboard, or you're going to get an error. Okay, you have to use this symbol right down here, just like a classroom calculator, if you're going to get the proper answer. Okay, so there is my first list. Okay, now to go to list 2, I just need to come here and arrow over, and again type in my numbers. Now if you want to, if you have all positive numbers, you can use your keyboard to type in those numbers and still use your enter key as normal, and it will work just fine. It's just when you're working with those negatives, you have to use that minus key on the calculator. Okay, so this is what the table looks like. So again, make sure your table matches what's right over here. Okay, then you come back up here and go to stat, arrow over to calc, and then you're going to arrow down to number 5, which is quadratic regression. All right, you arrow down to 5, come down here and press your enter key. Then you're going to arrow down to the store EQ. Okay, When you get here to store reg EQ, here is your vars key. Hopefully you can see my cursor on your end. Right here is your vars key. So you press vars, arrow to yvars, and then on your instructions it says enter 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's your equation. So it gives you y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. It says my a value is 1, b is 0, and c is also 0. Okay? So over here for my equation, I would come over here into the text box and type y equals x, and this is just going to be y equals x squared. And I can come up here to format, text, grab superscript, y equals x squared. Okay? So there's my equation. And then when I go back to my calculator here, now all I need to do is right up here. You see the graph key? And that's what it looks like. So then I will just come over here and drag this graph right over there, and that is my correct answer. All right, so let's go ahead and do the next one together. So what I'm going to do then, just like I would on my classroom calculator, press this blue second function key, and then come down here and hit the plus key, which gives you the memory menu, and then 7, 1, 2. Enter. All right, so now you've cleared out your tables, and we can start again. So when we start again, we do the same stat, edit. Oh my goodness, it did not clear. What did I do wrong? All right, so there it is. So start again, -1, enter, 0, enter, 1, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter. Okay, now come up over to your y's, so just arrow over for your list 2, and we're going to have 3, enter, 4, enter, 3, enter, 0, enter, and then -5. All right. So make sure that your table looks the way it does. So then again, we come up here to stat, go over to calc, and then we come down here to the quadratic regression. We press our enter key again, and then we arrow down to store EQ, vars, arrow to yvars, and then now enter 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. This time I have y equals a -x squared, b is 0, and c is 4. So I'm just going to type y equals -x squared plus 4 in this text box here. All right, so then I'll bring up my calculator again, and I'll hit the graph key. And that's what this one looks like. So you'll just grab and drag it over there. And that would be your answer for the next one. All right, so let's try it again. Second function key, Come down, hit my memory menu. 7, 1, 2. All right, there we go. I got it that time. All right, so the RAM is cleared. All right, so stat, edit again. Okay, so let's type in our next table. So remember, use your negative key right here. So -3, enter, -2, enter, -1, enter, 0. Okay. Then arrow, -3, enter, -4, enter, -3, enter, 0, and then 5. All right. So let's make sure our table in my calculator looks like my table that I'm supposed to input. All right, then. So we'll go to Stat, Calc, arrow down to the 5, enter, arrow down to Store EQ, press my vars key right down here, arrow to yvars, and then enter 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So now I've got y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. My a value is a 1, my b is a 4, and c is 0. So I'm going to have y equals x squared plus 4x. So in here I'll type y equals x squared plus 4x. All right, so there's your answer. That's what your equation would be, y equals x squared plus 4x. Now when I bring up my calculator and I just hit my graph key, that's what she looks like. So I would drag A over here. All right, so I think you can handle this. If you have any questions, please come up on Google Meet and I will gladly help you. Like I said, this calculator on your Chromebook's not any different than the one that we've used in the classroom. It has a few quirks to it, but I think you'll figure them out. But if you find yourself completely frustrated, come and see me on Google Meet and I will walk you through the steps. All right, have a great day, everybody. Thank you for all that you do. Goodbye.